In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make in 2025 more money hosting displaced families than you can in Airbnb. And I'm going to show you this. And why am I qualified to show you this? Because I've helped hundreds of homeowners nationwide land these lucrative temporary housing mid-term rental insurance contracts. And I want to go over with you the three fundamental pillars that will cover the opportunity, the right asset type, and then of course the margins that exist in this untapped opportunity, simply because most homeowners don't know. My name is Ruben Kanya. I am a temporary relocation investor where I specifically work with temporary housing agencies and insurance companies to make sure I'm always 100% occupied alongside with members in my community of investors, and we help them do the same by being able to land large midterm rental insurance bookings with less effort and energy. So that's actually where I want to start. What is the actual opportunity here? The opportunity is that there's multiple, more often than you would realize, displaced families who are in need of temporary housing. Now you might ask, well, Ruben, if this is so prevalent, why don't I know of it? Well, you can only know of it if you're actually properly optimized to be able to receive these kind of inquiries. Because the truth is, if you're on Airbnb right now as a host, or you're on Furnished Finder, you may not be getting as much of these inquiries as you may have been privy to because you're simply not available. Let's start with Airbnb. Typically, Airbnb hosts have bookings next weekend, next month. And what that means is if I'm a relocation specialist and something happens to the policy owner, which essentially is the person who is paying their insurance every single month as part of their mortgage, and if something happens to their home, then they're assigned to a relocation specialist that works with the insurance company that is there to find them an alternative solution. Number one, typically they go through and are put through a hotel as the immediate solution. But when work is going to take 3 to 6 months, then they need to actually find an actual alternative solution and find a like-kind property from where they came from to be able to house them. And guess what? They're not paying a single dime out of that. The insurance company is paying for it, rightfully so, because you pay a premium every month for years and years. And sometimes nothing ever happened. You don't file a claim until you actually need one. So when you do file a claim, be rest assured that there is more than enough money that the insurance company has to relocate and pay on behalf of the family. And that's what makes this thing all sweet anyways, because we don't have to deal with the pushback of trying to charge a premium to someone who's in a dire situation. Their insurance company are the ones who are paying that premium. And the reason it's a premium, I should rephrase, it's actually a discount. Because if you were to actually take that family, I always like to say a family of 5 with 2 dogs, and you were to relocate them into a hotel. Well, first of all, the lifestyle and the quality and the living conditions would go down dramatically because they don't have that living room, they don't have that dining room, they don't even have that backyard that they're used to having. But at the same time, the living conditions in that environment are not going to be conducive or flexible for them to continue to live on. So while the hotel is a very quick temporary housing solution or temporary solution for them, they will need a temporary housing solution that is very similar to the home that they came from, and that the insurance company will pay for. So where does that leave us as investors? Well, they need inventory, and there simply isn't enough inventory for them to be able to source. Well, because on one hand, you have Airbnb operators who are doing what they're supposed to do, accommodating short-term stays, 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights, 7, right? But that's about it. But for a 30-day stay or a 60-day stay or a 90-day stay, depending on how long it takes to actually fix the subject property that they're coming from, there isn't many options. Now you might say, well, Ruben, what about Furnished Finder? Well, that's one thing, right? But on Furnished Finder, again, what we typically see is not the type of properties that offer the solution to a 5 to 2 dogs and a cat type of situation. There is a lot on Furnished Finder of 2 1s, 1 1s, maybe even 3s, but you don't see a lot of 4 to 5 bedrooms. And that's where number 2 comes in. I've talked about the opportunity. The opportunity is that there's not if you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it and continue on with the gems in this video. Have inventory to house these temporary housing solution companies. The number 2 opportunity is finding the right asset type. And the right asset type is the one that's in most demand, and that's larger homes. And larger homes are typically not available because on one hand, you got the furnished finders of the world, which don't have as much inventory for the 4-5s. On the other hand, you have the Airbnbs where typically any good home that's a 4-5 is actually going to be booked for the next week or so for, again, these experiences and these traditional short-term stays. And on the other hand, you got, this is the one that drives me the most crazy, you got vacant properties that are available but are being managed by these management companies who will not offer anything less than, you guessed it, 12-month leases. So where does that leave us? And by the way, dare I say some of them are not pet friendly? So that leaves us an opportunity for you who's watching. The one who's watching who understands that there's a gap in the marketplace where there is not enough inventory available for this very specific niche problem. And the beauty of it is, in 2025, while there's still a shortage of housing that is furnished, ready for a family to move in, that's ready to accommodate a 3-month stay, that is the reason why you're able to charge the premium that you're charging. And that premium could be anywhere from 4x to what you would traditionally make on the long-term rental side. And it can even be 2x what you're getting on the Airbnb side for less headaches. And that is where the opportunity is. And that is where your margins are. And let's talk about those margins just so we put things into perspective. Most often, if you're still going for the Airbnb space, which, by the way, I am not here to tell you to not go for Airbnb. You should go for Airbnb. You should get, be able to have your cake and eat it too, as I call it. You should be going for short-term rental stays. It's good that you go for those, but we like to use that as our backup strategy and not our main strategy. And there's a way to do it specifically. And if you want to know how, grab them MTR and Blueprint. It's free. It's in the comment section. But in short, there is an opportunity here where we want to make sure we are focused on serving where there is lack of supply first, and then doing the Airbnb strategy as a backup, not the other way around. As a matter of fact, the other way around, there is no other way around, because most people are just doing one or the other. Either they're doing 12-month leases, or doing short-term stays, or they're doing furnished finder, and they're catering to travel nurses. But they're not really catering to these temporary housing, displaced families for in need due to an unforeseen event where their insurance company is going to pay for it. And that is where the cream of the crop of the profits is, because while typically they would pay anywhere from $500 a day to have a family of 5 in a hotel suite, right? Because they can't send you to a motel. Your insurance company can't do that. And then, by the way, let's talk about the pets. If it's not a pet friendly hotel, then now they're staying in the kennel. What are the fees for that? Here in Georgia, fees can start anywhere from $80 a day. You do the math on that. On $80 a day. Do you know what that would mean? $80 a day? I'll let my camera refocus here for a second. The $80 a day, if we pull out a calculator and say we had 2 dogs at 80 times 2 times 30, that's already $4,800 a month just for the dogs, if they needed a place to stay. That's where already you can see that it would be a no-brainer to charge a company $10,000 a month, because just the pets alone are going to be $4,800. It's a discount for them, and it's an opportunity to give better quality of lifestyle to that family. So when we talk about margins, we're talking about 2x, we're talking about 3x, we're talking about 4x sometimes what you traditionally would make on a long-term rental house side of the house, which is a huge opportunity for you, because now you have a family that's staying in your home for the next 3 months. They're not paying, the company is paying, and they always pay on time. And by the way, here's the caveat, or here's actually, I should say, even more icing on the cake, is that typically work takes longer than expected. And when work takes longer than expected, what you get is a nice notice to extend. And when you get a nice notice to extend, you extend and you get paid. And you can negotiate to get paid the same amount or even extend at a more expensive amount. But now you might say, well, Ruben, how prevalent is this? Well, it's prevalent enough that we've helped hundreds of homeowners do this themselves, right? And it's prevalent enough that even if it's not prevalent, guess what? You still have the right asset type that's ready to still host short-term rental stays. So that is where the opportunity is. And there is a certain way of doing these things, which I cover in all videos here on the library here on my channel. So feel free, make sure you subscribe and make sure you grab the MTR Insurance Blueprint. But that is the opportunity that exists. Again, the right asset type, the right opportunity, and of course, the right margins for you and your business where you can make more than you would make on Airbnb with less turnovers and less headaches and a very different avatar that's actually grateful that you are being there to provide them an opportunity to stay somewhere temporarily, because the alternative is not something that's ideal for them. It's a hotel and there's quite not enough inventory in your marketplace as well. If you got value from this video, make sure you grab my free midterm rental insurance blueprint, and also check out the 3 reasons why midterm rentals require less effort than Airbnb video.